From our studio here at Dudate.
My name is Aisha Yakubu. Coming up in the bulletin this evening.
News 360 Headlines is brought to you by
Flamenco Paint
and Napa Foods. Heaven Black Insecticide Spray and Coil.
Labor experts describe as demoralizing significant gender gaps in monthly earnings across sectors in Ghana.
Also coming up this evening, developing nations to press rich nations for more action as climate change expected to dominate UN General Assembly meeting in New York.
Later in the bulletin, we assess STEM education in Ghana and challenges in advancing gains made.
On the international front, the European Commission President promises 10-point EU action plan to help Italy deal with illegal migrants. We are live around the world on 3news.com. That's our website. We're also on Facebook streaming, and you can be a part of the show. We'll be happy to hear what your thoughts are. Let's dig into the details now.
In the details this evening, some major roads in the Savannah region have been cut off, bringing economic activities to a standstill. The more than 12 hours downpour, which started around 4:30 p.m. Saturday evening across the region, washed away major bridges while flooding some areas. Portions of the Bole-Saula-Wa highway have been cut off, leaving commuters stranded. The Makango-Salaga-Tamale highway in the eastern part of the region has also been flooded, affecting the transportation of goods to Yeji, Atebubu and Ejura markets. Now, the Salaga-Kito road has been inundated by flood water. Some buildings, including a mosque in Bole, have also been affected. We're going on to the phone lines now to get more on this unfortunate development. Yusuf Suleimana is the MP for Bole Bamboy constituency in the Savannah region. Honorable, thank you for joining us this evening.
Good evening, and thank you for this opportunity. And let me also say good evening to the people of Savannah region and the people of the northern Ghana, and to say that what really happened to us is a sad situation.
It is indeed a sad situation.
Before we start our conversation.
But how devastating is it?
Yes, so I was in the constituency yesterday. I left there in the evening to Tamale. And now I got to Accra this morning, only for me to be told that since morning dawn, it started raining. And the rain actually caused so much havoc to so many property as well as our roads. Indeed, there's a road that leads Bole to Sola and to Wa. It's a very major road that you cannot access the southern sector if you were coming from the Upper West region or the Sola-Tuna Calabar district without passing through that road. People who also travel from Bole to Tamale, we have to also use that road. And so the rain was so heavy that it overran a bridge, and by the time the rain stopped, the road was totally cut off. And so people could not cross either from the Sola side to Bole side or from the Bole side to the Sola side. And so the people were stranded since morning. Even as I speak to you now, most of them or all of them will have to now go back to either Sola or Bole to be able to get accommodation for themselves. It means that their journey was cut short as a result of that heavy downpour. Indeed, there are also houses and other crops that were submerged in water. And so it is really, really devastating. And let me also say that I have reached out to other areas in the Savannah region in particular, and it's the same thing. So many houses have been submerged in water, and people's farms have also been flooded. Indeed, it affected so many things. Today, for instance, when it comes to the voter registration exercise, those who were coming from Doli, Simariri, Dendeiri, Mankuma, Kakiase, and many other communities could not come because of the bridge, because the bridge was washed away.
That's quite unfortunate. But do we know if there have been any casualties?
For now, we have no any report in terms of casualty, except to say that farm produce, businesses, and other very important economic activities have come to standstill. And like I said, even our registration exercise could not continue today, especially for those who are coming from the affected areas.
Honorable, has NADMO been there to help with all that is going on currently?
Now, I'm not very sure of any intervention from NADMO. What I do know is that when the incident occurred, I reached out to the district chief executive because I wanted her to speak with one voice. And then we got in touch with the regional minister. I sent him a message and quickly he called me. And then from there, the messages and the videos I sent to him, he told me he also forwarded them to the Minister of Roads. Indeed, he said he forwarded them to the minister himself as well as the chief director. I had also sent the messages to the minister and also the chief director, Elijah Abbas. Elijah Abbas reached out to me and promised that his men would be on the ground as soon as possible to assess the situation and to advise the way forward.
Well, thank you very much, Honorable, for those details. Yusuf Sulemana is MP for Bole Bamboi there.
Let's take a quick trip to the United States, where the UN General Assembly is expected to commence. Now, it's been 8 years since the United Nations adopted its Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs, meant to improve the lives of billions of global citizens by 2030. However, at the halfway mark of the deadline, the UN has warned that the world is far from achieving the SDGs, which include ending poverty, eradicating hunger, and building climate resilience, amongst others. Developing countries, including Ghana, are expected to amplify their calls on rich and powerful nations to do more in the fight against climate change when global leaders gather in New York for the 78th session of the United Nations General Assembly. TV3's Sani Abdulrahman is in New York for the meeting and has filed this report on climate change's impact in Africa.
Africa is the least contributor to climate change, yet the continent is the most vulnerable to the devastating impact of the climate crisis. Communities continue to suffer from drought and devastating floods, taking away lives while pushing millions into extreme poverty. The floods in Libya are statement enough, according to some experts, on how Africa is paying the price for gas emissions of the rich and powerful nations. Thousands of people, their homes, their possessions and their livelihoods have all been washed away.
This is a tragedy in which climate and capacity has collided to cause this terrible, terrible tragedy.
In Ghana, the World Bank warns that at least 1 million more people could fall into poverty if urgent climate actions are not taken.
The devastating impact of climate change undermines global efforts to tackle hunger, poverty and ill health, improve access to clean water and energy, and many other aspects of the Sustainable Development Goals. This simply means the SDGs cannot be achieved without first tackling the climate change issues. But powerful nations have failed to honor their commitments under the 2015 Paris Agreement, which seeks to strengthen the global response to the climate crisis. The world would, however, be watching this week as global leaders gather here at the United Nations, hoping for some actionable commitments and not the usual rhetoric. Sani Abdulrahman, TV3 News at the United Nations.
And Sani is actually with us still, joining us from New York, where we know that the global leaders are expected to meet for a conversation. So that is a chatter on how the climate impact is and what is expected out of it. But let's speak to Sani now. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. First of all, talk to us about the importance and expectations of this year's UN General Assembly.
Well, Martin, the United Nations Week is the world's biggest gathering of diplomacy. 193 countries would convene here to discuss very important global issues. High on the agenda for global leaders will include the Russian invasion of Ukraine, of course, 18 months since the start of the war. And of course, the rippling effect we've seen on energy and food prices around the world. Martins, there is also heightened concern over the never-ending tension between China and the United States, not forgetting Russia and North Korea, and ways to de-escalate to avoid the Third World War. But most importantly, Martins, there will be the Sustainable Development Goals Summit, which provides the biggest platform for world leaders to assess the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals, and of course, happens once every 4 years. And this edition of the meeting, Martins, is crucial because we are halfway point towards the 2030 deadline for the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals, as we indicated. But clearly, lack of political commitment, inadequate financing to developing nations, and unceasing appetite for oil money have stalled the progress of the SDGs, Marcus.
Right, and Sani, clearly, like you indicated, it looks as though the conversation will center around the impact and effects of climate change, which even here in Ghana, we are already experiencing. But in concluding, talk to us about what Ghana's specific interest will be at this UN General Assembly. We're hearing that President Akufo-Addo is already in the US. Is that the case?
Yes, Martin. President Akufo-Addo touched down yesterday at an airport around New Jersey. In fact, we've seen some ministers coming in, the Honorable Esla Osi, among others, a powerful delegation representing the nation Ghana. The First Lady also touched down this morning to help President Akufo-Addo in his deliberations here at the United Nations. We have seen the President talk about the issues of unfairness when it comes to the global finance and architecture. And we expect President Akufo-Addo to magnify the call I made to the rich and powerful nations to ensure that they support developing nations, because they are the receiving end of the effect of climate change, even though they contribute little to the cause of all that we are seeing affecting the climate. So for Ghana, we don't expect much. The president will be amplifying the call. In fact, this has been the position of the African Union and the ECOWAS. At the just ended Africa Climate Summit, we had the president talk about the same issue, and he's expecting to extend the call here, because this is the biggest platform of diplomacy. Every country would be here, and those who make decisions, those who have made the pledges to help Iran with its poverty, and we have not seen the commitment from them, would all be here for President Akufo-Addo when he takes his turn to address the UN gathering.
Sani Abdulrahman, live from the UN headquarters there in New York. Thank you very much for that update. We'll definitely be coming to you subsequently when it is in full gear.
And now, over 350 structures have been gutted by fire at CMB Abuja behind Cocoa Board here in Accra. Emmanuel Samani was at the scene and has filed this report.
It is a devastating moment for victims here at Abuja CMB in Accra. This will be the second major fire incident here in the last 3 years, and victims are not finding it easy. The cause of the fire is yet to be ascertained, but the fire is said to have started in the room of Samuel Atanga.
I share accommodation with a few others. I tried to notify my neighbors that I can't do anything about the fire from my room.
Some affected residents and traders expressed their frustration and disappointment.
4 o'clock, I'm here, my phone is bearing, and he called me that Abuja was bearing, which we are site, when you are working. They told us, then I'll take the car to come, then my shop's inside. Now when I come, I see the fire was burning everything in here.
A lot of my goods have been destroyed. Even goods I had to deliver to customers in Kumasi have been destroyed. I've lost everything. This is where we all trade. The fire started from someone's room. Unfortunately, there was a gas cylinder and it exploded throughout the place.
The fire service personnel at the scene did their best to salvage the situation.
In all, we used 4 appliances, including 1 ambulance. Now the situation is under control. A lot of things have been destroyed. This place is used as commercial and then dwelling places. Again, people have lost their properties, although some people started to salvage some of the items, but the majority of them have lost their items.
Let's go to one of our headline stories now. And labor experts have described as demoralizing the existence of significant gender gaps in monthly earnings across sectors in Ghana. Latest data from the Ghana Statistical Service indicates that among paid workers, women earn less than men in the country, a development that has reignited the debate about efforts to achieve equal pay for work of equal value. Christian Yali reports.
In all sectors of employment, women in Ghana earn lower incomes. Despite efforts made in economic growth and poverty reduction, the gender wage gap shows the distribution of these benefits remains unequal. This situation, as captured by the Ghana Statistical Service, raises concerns about the treatment of women in the workforce and households.
Government's attention to a situation like this was drawn in the report of the Professor Yantia Mwabedi Committee report in June 2020, and no action had been taken on the Yantia Mwabedi report to address disparities in public sector salary. Then it's not only worrying, but it's very disturbing.
Beyond the equity concerns lies the crucial need to formulate policies to bridge the gap and deal with systemic barriers. While individual characteristics such as education, working time, skills or experience explain part of the gender gap, a large part has been attributed to discrimination based on one's gender.
It's very demoralizing, especially when it creates a situation where you are not living in dignity, where your dignity is undermined. That's a very disturbing development. And in some places, you see, where workers are given, for example, let's say 20% salary increase. Those in management also take 20% salary increase when they shouldn't.
Several professionals, for instance, complain about poor remuneration and compensation.
There was a day I did an estimate for a man, and he was like, I thought you are a lady, so yours will be lesser than men. And I was like, please, what's your reason? Then he was like, basically have a guy who will be giving your upkeeps. So why do you have to charge like the men?
The United Nations estimates that globally, women are paid less than men, with a gender gap of around 20%. What is clear is that while equal pay for men and women has been widely endorsed, applying it in practice has been difficult.
As far as addressing disparities in public sector salaries, nothing has been done. What has been done is only for the president and members of parliament, and some have even taken more than they deserve. I will urge members of boards of directors to shine their eyes and look at how salaries are administered in especially public sector institutions.
In an earlier earnings inequality report, the Ghana Statistical Service reported an average difference of 165 cedis between the net salaries of men and women in Ghana. Some have advocated transparent measures to help reduce the gender pay gap. Christian Yali, TV3 News.
Right, so let's stay on this subject and engage the thoughts of a labor statistician and economist at the Ghana Statistical Service, Anthony Oduro Denchi. Mr. Denchi, good evening. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me, and good evening to your cherished viewers and listeners as well.
Okay, to start with, this is an age-old problem. Have we been able to find what exactly is the cause why women who do the same job as men, from your research or the Ghana Statistical Research, are taking less pay than their male colleagues?
Thank you very much. So as I heard from your earlier reporter, there's a global phenomenon, and he really mentioned 20%, globally, from the 2018-2019 global wage report. And the situation is not different in our part of the world, and in particular, Ghana. So this report is coming from the 2022 Annual Household Income and Expenditure Report, the Q1 report that is giving this gap. Well, you can attribute some of these, this gap to what we call the labor market attributes, i.e., level of education, years of experience, sector of employment, which can be explained, and also the unexplained part that is the case even globally, as we saw in the 2018-2019 Global Wage Report by the ILO.
Okay, and still on. So, yes, please go on.
No. Maybe, the next question
has to do with the fact that some of the issues you raised about probably their level of education, their years of experience, like you indicated, this is a global phenomenon, but in trying to break it down to the understanding of why we still have this problem, which has been discussed over the years, we have still not been able to pinpoint, because we know some women who probably are even overqualified, still taking less pay than their male colleagues. So in your research, were you able to come to that conclusion, or it is just by mere fact that they are women or they are female?
So thank you. So you're right. So maybe basically two issues. So what we call the occupational segregation, where traditionally we know that some occupations are dominated by men, and so like you rightly indicated, if women even have the same qualification or even better, they still earn lower ages because that has been the perception. And then also under evaluation, realization of gender in industry sectors are known to be for women highly experience this penalty compared to other sectors where you have the gender mix.
All right. We definitely will be engaging you further as we all have this conversation to get to the bottom of it. But thank you for your time this evening, Anthony Oduro Denchi, labor statistician and economist at the Ghana Statistical Service.
To some more stories tonight, some stakeholders in the electoral process are calling on the Electoral Commission to learn lessons from the first few days of the ongoing limited voter registration exercise, with a view of improving it as the days go by. According to some registrants TV3 News spoke to at the Reg EC office, the process is slow and the center congested. Here's a report by Duke Mensah-Opoku.
It's a sunny afternoon at the Reg office of the Electoral Commission. Without the EC registration booths and equipment, the place easily qualifies as a market. Overcrowding, shoves, occasional shouts and aggression are the order of the day. The foyer of the Electoral Commission, EC, hosts 5 registration centers. Registrants who have mostly now attained the voting age of 18 have arrived from the Ayawaso West Wuogon, Klote-Kwole and other constituencies to have their names on the voters' roll. Abiba Zenu is a dressmaker's apprentice in Adabraka, Sahara. She laments the long hours spent in the queue waiting for her turn to register.
We came early, and when the person come around like 1, then they will take the person inside and do it for her, him or her. And we are here sitting down waiting for them.
Ordinarily, what are you in school? Are you doing something and you are spending?
I'm working. I'm learning how to sew.
And for the whole day you'll be here?
Yes.
What do you think can be done to make the process better?
We are talking, they are not minors.
What would you tell the EC officials?
We want them to talk to them. Maybe they will change and attend to us and do it for us to go home and do what we do.
Others share similar sentiments.
I came here in the morning like 7 a.m. We are here, but some people, they don't understand. They want to steal the line. And we will not accept it because we are here. Our assemblyman brought us here, so we will vote for him. So you will be assemblyman. Yeah, from Adraka. But you see some of the girls, they don't understand it.
We are not happy about what we are seeing, because there are some misunderstanding going on among each other.
What are some of the things you think the EC can do to improve the process?
We need more securities to be available for us,
And could the process be a lot more quicker? Time is money.
Majority of us, we are dependent on others for food. So for us to sit at one place since morning is not easy.
The National Democratic Congress parliamentary candidate for Ayawaso West Wogon says the EC must change its posture and add to the number of registration centers.
People are many. There's a point where the EC official interviews, asks questions to those who want to come and register, and so that takes quite some time.
And how can the process be improved generally from what you...
It's just for us to get more registration booths. Yes. Once we get that, the lines will move. Even yesterday, people came to register. They couldn't register, so they had to sleep and register this morning.
Sleep over here?
Yeah, they slept over here.
MP for Ayawaso West Wogon wants the commission to deal with the challenges experienced so far.
It's been going on smoothly. Once a while, there may be disagreements here and there, but we try to resolve it quickly and move on.
There are concerns about the numbers here, congestion, if more centers had been opened.
Oh yes, that we keep requesting, but as you are aware, the law does not allow that for now. So this is what we have, and we are making good use of it. Fortunately for us, it is not that far from our constituency. So we are able to encourage our young ones to come. Those who cannot, we facilitate their coming and all that. That is what is happening across the country, and we are doing same over here.
The limited voters registration exercise will end on October 2 and forms part of the EC's preparations for the 2023 District Assembly elections, which are slated for December 19. The EC is targeting to register at least 1,350,000 persons based on its projections. Duke Menso Poku, TV3 News, EC Office, Ridge, Accra.
Now, Ghana's participation in this year's first Global Robotics Challenge in Singapore does not look promising. Funding and sponsorship of $30,000 is incomplete for students of Achimota School to showcase their innovation to the rest of the world come October. In the following report, George Quenin assesses STEM education in Ghana thus far and the challenges in advancing gains.
STEM is an acronym for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, which is acknowledged by United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO. The need for STEM education in the socio-economic development of a country cannot be overemphasized. Unfortunately, African countries lag in STEM education outputs compared to the rest of the world. In Ghana, although some STEM schools are operational and others still under construction, there are still challenges. The almost total absence of classroom experiments do not help.
In class, it's more of theoretical, or STEM, it provides all what you've learned, that is in science and technology, in a way that can fully express your creativity and innovative thinking.
These are compounded by other difficulties, such as inadequate infrastructure, gender stereotypes, and lack of funding. But the Education Ministry says some inroads have been made and that the current imagery of the education system is not the reality.
We want to innovate our way out of poverty, and these are the critical skills that we inculcate into our learners through the STEM education policy that we are strongly and forcefully promoting.
Quite recently, there have been some innovations by some students to solve everyday life challenges. An example is Efiakobi Girls Senior High School in the Ashanti region, where students have invented an unmanned boat programmed to detect dead bodies in water sources. All these achievements have to be noticed globally to showcase Ghana's advancement. The challenge now is that lack of funding may impede student participation on the global stage. The 7th cohort of the first Global Robotics Challenge are in there, and it's actually the training moot camp for them. Achimota School is representing Ghana this year in Singapore. So let's go in there and see what they are building for the challenge. This is Team Ghana preparing for the 2023 First Global Robotics Challenge to be held in Singapore in October. The challenge is a yearly Olympic-style robotics competition aimed at promoting STEM education and careers for the youth. It took them more than 5 months to get here. With this year's theme being Hydrogen Horizons, Ghana's innovation extracts hydrogen from water as a source of renewable energy. But the efforts could be derailed because funding of $30,000 to support the 7-man team for the 7th edition of the Global Challenge is incomplete.
Looking at the past, we end up having to build for some of these teams, but this particular team have built this robot from scratch all by themselves with a little guidance. We need approximately $30,000 to be able to take a 7-man team, that is 5 students and 2 trainers.
With some few weeks to go, the dream of these students hang in the balance.
We've been training for 5 months now. In case we don't get funds to go, we feel very, very sad because we want to show the world what we are capable of doing.
Not all students get this opportunity to be here, so I'm hoping that we'll go and do our best.
We sought a reaction from the Education Ministry.
All come on board. Now the minister has directed that we create a platform that is called STEM League. So under this platform, all these players and key actors in the STEM space will get in, and then that way we'll be able to monitor. That way we can even spread it out for equity, and that way we can also scale it up and ensure that in the next few years, Ghana becomes a hub for STEM education in the sub-region.
One thing remains clear. The approach to STEM education must be holistic and progressively adopt strategies at all levels. Ghana may make some remarkable gains when it comes to STEM education, but if challenges like lack of funding and sponsorship impede our quest to even showcase our exploits globally, then we are on a ticking time bomb. George Quinnin, TV3 News, Achimota.
And certainly the assistance to get these students to go and compete globally is very important. So we hope that stakeholders, government, and probably philanthropists are listening so we can support these students to put the Ghana flag right up there with the other emerging global powerhouses. You're still watching News 360 on TV3. Stay with us. We have many more stories for you right after this.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to demonstrate to you the superior properties of Flamingo paint as compared to other paint brands on the market. We take equal quantities of Flamingo paint and this ordinary paint. We then dilute them with water. And now, let the test begin. The gentleman on the left is going to apply the ordinary paint, and the gentleman on my right will use the Flamingo superior paint. As you can clearly see, Flamingo has the obvious better hiding. Furthermore, Flamingo has painted a much larger area. You know, 1 bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint is made with superior formulation to give superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
You dey sleep? That's Madina.
Sentuntum say wunna ma de jume ma wonsa.
Efrema be magani oba.
Ma wonsa. Sentuntum ma boasu muda ma wonsa.
That shall not slap. Having black mosquito que. Pamon tontom na empom wisie bebre na ema wo mowa na ema wo nhwem na ehwam.
Having insecticide spray ehwam na sanso kum mo a wotu ene omo wia nyina. Now having naphthalene balls and having perfumed insect repellent, no, a kumwa warrior, nothing just here with you.
Having black mosquito que, and pong is ye baby, and say what so. A sham kama, bueno, a mubu, the jumo size, no, a bojuma don't shade to me no.
And a heaven spray, having naphthalene balls, ni perfumed insect repellent, no, a kumwa mutu, now our numb from nothing just sham with you.
Heaven dear, Bacope, heaven dear, heaven dear, Bacope, heaven dear, Bacope.
FDA actually a dreaded cratoyatum.
Wait a minute, yo!
It's on my nephew.
Wow, this place has changed, yo! Yo, Ajwa, look at you all grown up, yo!
Some things never change, like Gino's quality recipe that gives my food that rich color, unique natural taste every time.
Smells good, yo!
Hey, sister, with the wap sano and kasa, just like I remember.
Uncle, hurry up and let's open the suitcase.
Ajua, chai, never shrink quite far.
Best jollof I've ever eaten.
Wow, this is real jollof, mommy.
Gino dear, am I drowning at the ankasa?
Say Gino dear, fie.
It's delicious, yo!
This advert is FDA approved.
Whenever you fly to space or take your first step as baby, SoftCare always stays with you.
New SoftCare Space Series is rooted from space technology. Keeps you dry and comfortable for 12 hours long. Offers you the most effective protection during your space journey.
SoftCare. Protect your leap.
Welcome back. 60% of men in Ghana will develop prostate cancer, out of which 75% will die from the disease. In this report, Emmanuel Samani delves into the inspiring journey of Nathaniel, a prostate cancer survivor, and gathers insights from medics on the scope of this disease.
The results also came, and that also confirmed the 2 tumors but then fortunately, they were only confined in the prostate.
Nat was diagnosed with prostate cancer at the age of 67. Like many others, he initially struggled with the news. With the unwavering support of his family, Nat decided to confront his diagnosis head-on.
We had to decide which option to take. That's what we decided with the family and the children, to go in with a radical prostatectomy, where the prostate gland will entirely be removed.
It was a difficult decision, but one that ultimately saved his life.
Lo and behold, and by God's grace, by the following Sunday, which was almost 1 week, I was discharged. But then, one revelation that came to us was that even on the hospital bed, on the 3rd day, when the doctors were coming around, and with the catheter on, I saw the thing.
Today, Nat is a beacon of hope for those grappling with prostate cancer. To provide a comprehensive understanding of prostate cancer, we turn to Dr. Bernard Tobo, a consultant urologist with years of experience in treating this disease.
Prostate is actually from Latin prostato, for gatekeeper, and that seeks to suggest one of its key roles, especially when you're below 40. It helps with urinary continence. And then the prostate also produces over 50% of the human ejaculate, I'm talking about the semen.
Dr. Towo explains that prostate cancer is the second most common cancer among men worldwide.
Prostate cancer is a disease of aging. It tends to be more prevalent as you age, so you find a higher incidence among those in the 70s and above. But we've started seeing cases in those who are younger, and generally it tends to occur earlier in those with very strong familial links.
But how can one protect themselves from prostate cancer? Dr. Tobo elaborates on the various treatment options available, ranging from surgery and radiation therapy to active surveillance.
When you have frequent sexual encounters, then it tends to cleanse or decongest or protect the prostate. At least if you can have 3 times in a week, that should be good. Every year you get your prostate checked. Dietary modifications are very, very important.
Dr. Bright, the Chief Medical Officer at Synlab Ghana, highlights the prevalence of prostate cancer in our society.
The men who actually develop prostate cancer in their lives, of which that's about 60% of men who develop prostate cancer, we actually have 75% of these people actually dying as a result of the complications of prostate cancer, or the prostate cancer itself.
He shared some alarming statistics from his facility indicating an uptick in the number of cases in recent years.
Since the beginning of the year, Synlab has tested about 5,500 men. And of this number, we have 5,100 that are men above the age of 40. And that's what we encourage, that men above the age of 40 should test as often as they can. And of this number, we have 33%, which translates into 1,600 of these men actually testing values of PSA that are above the normal range, which is above 4. And these people are people who have issues or some issue with the prostate, of which prostate cancer could be one of those issues.
Dr. Bright emphasizes that promoting awareness and encouraging men to undergo routine prostate screenings could significantly reduce the burden of the disease. Prostate cancer is a formidable opponent, but it can be overcome. Nat's triumphant journey and our medics' insights shed light on the importance of awareness, early detection, and a multidisciplinary approach to treatment. Prostate cancer can be challenging, but with the right support and medical expertise, like in the case of Nathaniel, it is a battle that can be fought and won. Emmanuel Samani, TV3 News, Accra.
Clear challenges with aging and prostate cancer. So do get tested if you are probably above 40, because it's a very necessary test you need to undertake. Let's look at some other stories now. Farmers and community in Gakpora in the Upper West region are sounding the alarm over the collapsed bridge that has remained in disrepair for over a decade. This critical infrastructure failure is causing several post-harvest losses, severe post-harvest losses, I should say, which is also affecting the only livelihoods of these farmers in the area and also the access to education and healthcare services.
The bridge was once a lifeline for the community. The bridge collapsed after a heavy rainstorm more than 10 years ago. The collapse has impacted the socio-economic activities of residents of the area. Residents are unable to cross from one area to another when it rains. The dilapidated state of the bridge now poses a danger to residents. The bridge was a vital access point for farmers to transport their harvest to market centers and warehouses. The CEO of Gukpara Farms, Jonathan Bozin, recounted how a truckload of yams being carted to the market got stuck in the middle of the valley.
The major challenge we face here as farmers has to do with this collapsed bridge. The vehicle got stuck here for over 2 weeks. All the yams were rotten and disposed of, yet I have to pay for the services of the car. It's only the dry season that we take our farm produce to either market or a warehouse. Even that, you will need only the services of a tractor.
The assembly member for Busi West electoral area and the farm manager at Gokpara Farms, Prosper Antwongmen, lament the impact the state of the bridge is having on agriculture.
And you can see over there the struggle we have been going through, but then we are carrying people to come and work for us. We are really suffering. We are calling for the government, NGOs, whoever that can support us, because this particular river, the bridge, has been our major challenge.
A worried leader of the Bukpara community, Chief Dosa Dacha I, called for urgent intervention from authorities. The deplorable state of the road is also deterring investment in the area.
Away from that, Shaxi, a ride-hailing app, has officially been launched in Kumasi. Brand Ambassador Ebenezer Entry, known in the Ghanaian showbiz circles as Dr. Likey, led a team of stars to tidy up the Menhyirt Palace. To mark the event, in attendance was Shatawale, the owner of Shaxi.
Captured the precincts of the Menhyirt Palace, the seat of the Santehene. The program was also supported by producers of Heaven Mosquito Insecticide Spray and Coil, as well as Enapa Mackerel. The Menhyirt Museum and the administration were all tidied up. Some notable movie stars like Akrobeto, Akabeneza, Papa Kumase were all in attendance. Also in attendance was musical artist Shatawale.
Shaxi Jumadi no afena abakumase ye biano ye bebiano but we ne ye botae kese pa ye say ye shase ne aprepra krum na ye di krum ni but sabe mpanyfo se ye boda ma ye.
The main objective is to officially introduce the Shaxi to the Kumasi market. We decided to mark it with a cleanup, and it was always appropriate that it starts from the Menhyirt Palace. Manager of Dr. Likey, Daniel Akwesi Ejay, thanks sponsors for making the event successful. Sponsors. We had a lot of sponsors when we decided to embark on this exercise. Manager for Heaven Insecticide Spray and Coil, Rushan, also had this to say.
Apart from business, we can, our directors and we also personally, we believe in helping hands. We always there for helping. Heaven is always there for helping hand.
Still watching News 360 on TV3. We'll take a quick break. When we return, we'll let you know what happened to Arsenal, the English Premier League. Stay with us.
There are some moments that last forever because they happen only once. Like your very first day, your first day of school, your first successful bike ride. What's your child's next milestone? Auntie Mary's Gripe Mixture is here to ensure they smile through it all. Auntie Mary's Gripe Mixture has been keeping children smiling for more than a decade by relieving them from gastric pain, flatulence, minor digestive upset, and teething discomfort. Now, Auntie Mary's Gripe Mixture. Auntie Mary's Gripe Mixture is manufactured and distributed by Ernest Chemists Limited. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
And the overall best student goes to Kwame Boateng.
That's get the TV.
Wow.
Do all your washing with TCL affordable washing machine. Always buy the best from TCL. TCL, inspire greatness.
Wait a minute, yo!
It's on my nephew.
Wow, this place has changed, yo! Yo, Ajwa, look at you all grown up, yo!
Some things never change, like Gino's quality recipe that gives my food that rich color, unique natural taste every time.
Smells good, yo!
Hey, sister, we the wap Sano and Kasa, just like I remember.
Uncle, hurry up and let's open the suitcase.
Ajua, chai, na me shrink quite fast.
Best jollof I've ever eaten.
Wow, this is real jollof, mommy.
Gino dear, Emma Adriana de Ankasa.
Say Gino dear, fie.
It's delicious, yo!
This advert is FDA approved.
Are you tired of struggling with bad financial situations? At Quick Credit, we understand the difficulties that come with transitioning to a better one. That's why we're here to simplify the process for you. With loan facilities from 1,500 cedis upwards, all you have to do is call and we will take care of the rest. All you need is your national ID. No savings, no collateral, no susu, no deposits, and no account opening required. Quick Credit has you covered. Whether you're expanding a business, starting a new one, facing an emergency like school fees or funeral expenses, or even just in need of a salary loan. What are you waiting for? Call Quick Credit today. 0302 200 390 or 059 692 0833. We do not give loans via the internet. Quick Credit is regulated and licensed by the Bank of Ghana. Terms and conditions apply. Quick Credit. Lending made simple.
Sports segment is brought to you by Bell Pack Tissues.
It's time for sports here on News 360. I am Aniela Alote. We start off on the continental front. Midiama defeated Guinean giants Horoya 3-1 in the first leg of the CAF Champions League qualifications at the Cape Coast Stadium. Here's what their head coach had to say following the victory.
I said the other time, especially when we met at the pre-conference, this question came up, and then I did say, if Atinga is not there, we need a replacement. I'm one coach who always want to create competition within the team or among the players. So if Atinga is gone, definitely there's someone to step in his shoes. And you saw it happen today.
Moving on to the English Premier League, Arsenal claimed their first win in 6 years at Goodison Park as Leandro Trossard's second half trouble. Chelsea had to settle for a disappointing goalless draw against Bournemouth as their slow start to the season showed no signs of improvement.
Wary of Beto. He's got a foot in. It bounced for Nketiah, and Vieira's rolled it through, and Martinelli's in! A VAR check. We witness applause around the ground in the 19th minute for 19-year-old Everton season ticket holder Matthew Dalby, who tragically lost his life in July to knife crime. It appears
that's weird. I mean,
offside is being given.
Is there no better angle than that? Oh, leaving Ivan.
Odegaard has set it for Vieira. Zinchenko. Odegaard. Saka. Trossard scores! Oh, that's sharp. That is deliciously sharp. And Arsenal at last have their way.
Well, it was up to Arsenal to find a way to break down this stubborn defence. And they played.
Finally, Arsenal make good at Goodison. At last, Mikel Arteta wins a game.
Going, seeing a lot more of the ball now. Just need to be a bit more careful with it.
Ouattara, Keke's on the overlap. Ouattara. Colwell. Mudryk. It's come through to Gallagher. Gallagher shoots, Neto saves. And scrambled away by Christie. Took a touch of a Chelsea player, so Bournemouth have tidied that up nicely. And it is a goal kick. Sterling strikes. And it's beautiful. And it's finished off by Colwell. Well, the first strike, we were right behind it. Looked like it was curling into the corner. The follow-up from Colwell, but he was offside.
Heading over to Spain, Mason Greenwood made his debut for Getafe as a substitute against Osasuna, the first time he has played since appearing on September 1st, with coach Jose Bordalas pledging to help Greenwood recover his best level and rebuild his career. Manchester United conducted a 6-month internal investigation into Greenwood and his assault and attempted rape charges and decided he should continue his career elsewhere. That will be all for sports here on News 360. I am Aniela Alote.
It's on my nephew. Wow, this place has changed, yo.
Angela, welcome.
Yo, Angela, look at you all
all grown up, yo.
Some things never change, like Gino's quality recipe that gives my food that rich color, unique natural taste every time.
Smells good, yo.
Hey, sister, we the wap Ponsano and Casa, just like I remember.
Uncle Ebo, hurry up and let's open the suitcase.
Ajua, chai, na me shrink quite far.
Best jollof I've ever eaten.
Wow, this is real jollof, mommy.
Gino dear, Emma Adriana de Ankasa.
Say Gino dear, fie.
It's delicious, yo.
This advert is FDA approved.
Honey, new sample and a pot evaporated milk. Tasty and creamy, right?
So.
And a pot milk, a well custard one, a fine. Nasa well Tom Brown no rice water muswa, a nice. Honey, trip number so made the end of pan mayonnaise. And I'm salad, and a burger. Fries so and a tasty ketchup. And a good side. Coffee jollof no so made the end of pepper.
Long green rice. Oh, you are one.
Don't forget your favorite and a chocolate milk drink.
Oh, more quite so.
See, honey, you are sorted.
I'm in control like a pilot on Anapa Airways.
Mama.
Me, you know.
Enapa, I can't stand it.
Just a moment. And now power, huh?
Yeah!
Oh, yeah, Jack Macron, no more. It's you cannot sit there. Hey, you contumre. Woodokney, tomato sauce, I want you, baby. And a pass sardine, fork box with salad, yeah. Hey, you stew, and a jollofa. Never to the one, that don't know it though. Or to that. And the ball of ya, or meant to bunny a doa. You want a pass sauce? Check for you, sir. Oh, more tasty. And a big beans for the breakfast. Let's all a salad, oh, she and a tuna. We can puffle. Let's all a salad in oh, taste good. And a pan on dairy creamer. 4 box we so can see oats, na cremitino. Yo and a spaghetti. Talia papa B. Mansunin sijadu re. Nafa and a spaghetti no gum. Wo and a patalia no I ready for watch on you stew. So ya no pa no so
Inkrati FDA appendo. Entertainment news segment is brought to you by Awake Purified Drinking Water, GTP Lifestyled, Vodafone, Further Together, and powered by 3 Entertainment.
In entertainment news this evening, established in 1922, the Dio Gratis Photo Studio has survived decades of Ghana's history with over 50,000 images that have been preserved. 3 Entertainment brings you the story behind this hidden gem in the heart of Accra.
Jamestown and some tourist attractions like the Asha Fort and even the Jamestown Lighthouse come to mind because we have a lot of tourists coming in here to take a look at these places. But there's one particular hidden gem that has been in existence for over 100 years. That is the Dio Gratis Photo Studio, which is still running even after 100 years. And today at 3 Entertainment, we're here in Jamestown to find out the backstory of how this brilliant photo studio started, how they've been able to keep the pictures, what has kept them running. Come with me, let's go find out.
The Dio Gratis Photo Studio, established in 1922, signified the Height founder J.K. Bruce Vanderpoel and Sons' aspirations and dreams of what they can achieve with photography. The two spent decades in capturing historic events, architecture and prominent personalities in the Ghanaian history. To present day, it can inarguably said to be one of the oldest photography studios in Africa. Deogratius and the dream of the Bruce van der Poels is succeeded by Kate Tamaklo, granddaughter of J.K. Bruce van der Poel and daughter of Isaac Hudson Bruce van der Poel.
So we're here at the Deogratius photo studio, the oldest photo studio in Africa, and today we're going to get into the history behind the studio, and the best person to help us do that is Mrs. Tamaklo, who knows a whole lot about the studio. Being the third generation, she's here to tell us all the story. It's been here for over 100 years. What are some of the memorable events, especially when it comes to your grandfather and your father managing this entire studio?
Some of the memorable events have been when Kwame Nkrumah was taken out of prison, which is not far from the studio, and then also experiencing our independence. That were great moments that both my grandfather and my dad experienced.
So what of this particular picture?
Yes, this one includes some of the big six,
okay,
with their lawyer for independence.
So that's J.B. Dankwa and then
okay. You see the members of the United Gold Coast Convention.
Wow. So this was taken in 1947.
Yeah.
Wow. When you go to other jurisdictions, highly sought after, people pay millions of dollars to get these pictures in their homes. Are you hoping for such opportunities, or do you have people even coming to say that I want to buy this picture for this much?
Yes, we have a lot of people coming in who want copies. But for now we are preserving the quality of these prints. We are willing to sell editions.
And that's how we bring the bulletin to an end. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Martin Asiedu Date.
And I'm Aisha Yakubu Khalid. Enjoy Ghana's Most Beautiful.
Welcome to GTP Fashion Corner. GTP, life, style.
Petal Cares. Great new design. Fit right.